Well, here's an MP-1. This is the 12-volt power supply for the KWM-2 in automotive service. I plan to use it here in the shack with 12 volts down there. I took the cover off thinking that I was going to see bad capacitors, but they look in good shape. A lot of diodes. Transformer, relay. Not bad shape. Not too sure what those are. I have to look. I think it's a vibrator, and here is the chip for the vibrator. I think there's one back there. Down there somewhere. On that stud. Okay. This is the vibrator circuit, primary circuit. Secondary circuit, high voltage, similar to the PM2 that I just finished. Pin 1 of this unit is the high voltage, 700 to 800 volts. This is the low voltage, usually 275. That's pin 4. And the bias. Now, I'll have to research, but 12 volts on the filament. The PM2 supplies 6.3. I don't see how this is going to supply 12 volts filament. And on and off switch. So this is the coil for the relay. So 12 volts comes in, goes to the open contact and ground. So if I ground pin 3, the relay should make. And if it makes, I should see 12 volts on pin 2. We'll test that. These are the straps. They're located right here. And they are set up for negative ground. This is positive, negative. This is one of these transistors. And then this is the output. Pin 1 is the high voltage. Pin 2 is the filament. Yeah, they're line, yeah. Great. They're numbered. Yes. All right, so let me set it up. I got negative. Positive. Okay, make sure they don't touch. Move it over here. Okay, so negative strap, positive. Okay, put the meter voltage. The ground. Get the ground right here. Get the ground there. And this will give me pin, I said pin 2, will be 12 volts. And pin 2 is right here. Like so. Then I need to ground pin 3. Here's the ground. These things are tiny. Pin 3 is ground, and then when I touch pin 3, 1, 1, 2, 3. When I touch pin 3, I should hear the click. I should see 12 volts. Now I have to connect it to the 12 volts. Get it out. Hold on a second, guys. Put you down here for a second. Okay, got that part. I'm going to go to 12 volt distribution here on panel. And there's an open one here. I don't think you see much light there. And I don't know why. Here's my Armstrong 12 volts, my distribution panel, and we got 12 volts coming right there. So pin 2 again is the 12 volts. I want to check with the meter. Turn this light. And let's see if it takes off. Let's see. So this is my ground. And according to the diagram, if I ground pin 3, it should click. Or smoke come out. I don't know. Let's see. And I do. Got 13 volts. Excellent. Pin 1 is 700. So I gotta move this thing over. Pin 1. I should say my ground pin 3. I should see 150 volts, 800. And pin 4 is 260. 1, 2, 3, 4. And again, grounding pin 3. Got 294. And the bias is pin 5. Again, grounding pin 3. 1, 3. And it gets, 69 volts. So the power supply seems to be working like it is. Initially, I was going to upgrade it, but I'll work with this. This is I would have ordered the new capacitors, but the ones with axial leads in this size, last time I looked, they were not available or they had a long lead time. And I'm not in a position to be making a circuit board of this complex. I could do 1 or 2 like I did on the PM2, but that's my limit. So this fellow online makes a replacement board. This is what it looks like. This is a new style. You see the capacitor much, much smaller. He has because of the added circuitry. And it just goes in its place. But in the meantime, I'm going to work with this one, and if I find a junker one, I might utilize this. So next will be finding a way to mount this on a piece of wood, possibly with on-and-off switch for pin 3, saving the phonetic switch that's behind this guy here, unobtainable, this switch here. So put on a board, a plywood board, plywood and angle, aluminum, on and off switch, power poles for the 12 volts, and then a 11-pin chassis tube socket, so I could plug in the cable to connect to the KWM-2. It's the same cable that I use. It's an extension cable that I use for the PM2, so I don't have to have the PM2 piggybacked onto the KWM2. So I'll use that cable. So I have to find me a socket here, wire the socket to those terminals, and then research on why it's going to give out 12 volts on the filament when the PM2 gives out 6.3 volts. So I don't want to put 12 volts on the filament. So I'll have to research that. This is a wing emblem, and from the looks of it, it's from the 70s. The earlier ones had these wax ones, like the one on the PM2, that gray wax. This is not the case. So these are newer capacitors they installed. The board itself, it's a little crummy. The rosin, whatever, some of the connectors are now looking pretty shoddy, but I think that's from the solder. Can't think of the name right now. But I'll give this a try until it dies. Now I know it works. Well, it works with no load. We'll see if it works with the load. So that'll be the next link to this. So the next video, hopefully I'll have it all set up on a piece of plywood, connector, switch, and a power pole, chassis mounted stuff. Probably maybe a handle somewhere. I could use these things with an external battery. These things have a power pole at the end. So I've got power poles into alligator clips. So I could use a battery if I wanted to. But I'm going to mount, I have the power pole chassis mounted up here in the front somewhere on an angle metal. And for that test, so I'll have to hunt for socket, metal, switch, and power pole. Later.